The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of the staff or management of Visionary-related entertainment.
Aloha and welcome to Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where you'll find us talking story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors and staff to find out how they're working to support the needs within our community. Maui Nonprofit Notes is generously sponsored by Pacific Source. If you're building or remodeling a home, please stop by Pacific Source's cabinet and appliance showroom located in the Waikapu Bay Shard. I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific, and your host for Maui Nonprofit Notes. During this hour, we share some of the experiences of our nonprofit agencies and just how they're changing lives, changing communities, and creating miracles of hope for those with needs. Today we have two very diverse organizations here. We've got the Hale Kaukau Mission, which is serving homebound and needy folks dinner nightly. And we have Kalima o Maui working with the disability clients and getting them, we take the discs out of disability, right?
Right.
That's kind of the short way of saying what you do.
Perfect.
That's we're going to talk with them in the second half of the show. So we're going to start off talking with Dr. Mary Trotto, who is the fundraiser extraordinaire for Hale Kaukau. How you doing, Mary?
I'm very good, thank you.
It's great to have you back with us again. And you're all decked out with your Iron Man hat on and sun visor and ready to go for your own run, aren't you?
Well, I just got back from Spain.
You did?
I was competing at the Worlds. Don't ask me how I did because I didn't do very well.
Uh-oh. Okay. But you had a great time.
Yes.
You didn't get hurt.
I came out healthy.
That's what counts. That's what counts. Wow. Now, what was that? The world, is that a triathlon?
A track and field championships.
Track and field?
For Masters.
The Masters. For those 65 and over?
No, 35.
No, 35 and over is Masters. Wow. That's quite a competition.
Mm-hmm.
How many people show up for something like that?
8,000 athletes, 82 countries.
Oh, my goodness. Now, do you have to be appointed or selected to go and represent, or do you put your name in? And
Yeah, we represent the United States team. You have to be good to get on the podium.
I gotcha. Okay. And what is the actual series of events?
All track and field.
All track and field.
All the events.
And what's your event?
I do the multi-events. I did the heptathlon, the steeplechase, the pole vault.
Oh, my gosh. That's a whole nother side to Mary. Dr. Trotto, you're something special. Yeah?
I did well at nationals, but I didn't do well at worlds, so.
That's a bigger arena, umbrella or tent or whatever. Yeah. But just being able to go. Is this the first time, or have you been there before?
No, I've been going to Worlds since 98.
Wow, that's 20 years. Oh, it's a good thing the starting age is 35. You were just about that.
Well, not quite.
Oh, that's great that you go. Do others from Hawaii go, or?
There are about 4 or 5 from Oahu.
Oh, okay.
There was one gal from Lahaina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And how many days does this take?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. And it's held. This one was in. Does it changes location?
It was held in Malaga. Spain.
Okay.
The next one will be in Toronto.
Oh, okay.
It's every 2 years.
Every 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay, kind of like the not half of the Olympics.
Right.
Okay, that's neat. And you're already looking forward to that one, I can see. Do you train every day regularly to keep in shape and just do a little extra training right before you go, or?
Well, I train with February 1st starts the outdoor season with Baldwin High School.
Uh-huh.
They made me an honorary member of their team.
Oh, cool.
So the coaches work with me. Yeah.
Oh, how good.
Yeah.
Gee, no wonder she's in such great shape, huh? You know what? You just wore me out talking about it. Oh, man, I need to get in shape. Okay, but...
Well, you can come and do the 1 mile walk.
There we go.
Your foot is not too good. So
yeah, I got to get this foot back in shape before I start doing that. So as the fundraiser extraordinaire for Hale Kaukau, I know you have several events during the year, and I think last time you were here, you were just getting ready to do your main event,
Right.
which, as I understand, was an unbelievable success this year. You had a couple special items that you auctioned off
Right.
and got top dollar for, and had somebody who matched.
But fund a cause, and we did the most we've ever done at Holly Calco. So
That's
we-
great.
So it was a good year for us. But we had a lot of unexpected expenses because 4 years ago we collected, we did a fundraiser for a new freezer.
I remember that.
So we collected enough money for the freezer, but in getting the permits and doing this and that, the county had all kinds of things we had to do, and it turned out the refrigerator died. So we wound up actually getting a new walk-in refrigerator and a new walk-in freezer. Of course, that made the kitchen too small, so they had to renovate the kitchen.
Oh my gosh. That sounds like my home project that I did a little while ago.
So it was a little bit over what we had raised 4 years ago. So now that's part of our fundraising effort to match those funding as well. That's additional over our normal cost
Gotcha.
of running the kitchen.
It's a good thing it was a great event.
Well, the nice thing is that having a bigger freezer, and if somebody wants to donate, for example, recently somebody donated a whole pallet of chicken. Now, we never could have taken that before, but we took it, the whole thing.
Wow.
So that's what I mean. And if they're going to donate something like that, we have room to put it in. We have a refrigerator that keeps things cold like it's supposed to, and things like that. Those are important things. You don't wind up throwing away food.
Right.
It's spoiled. So
Right.
so that I think in the long run we'll save money because they're more energy efficient. The new refrigerator, freezer.
Right.
So yeah.
Wow. So how are your numbers over there? Are you seeing more or less people coming for dinners?
Well, it's really a mixed bag. For the homebound, we're seeing a big increase so now we're feeding almost 90 homebound elderly and disabled every single night.
Wow.
We have 6 drivers. They're all volunteers, and they have 6 routes, and they take about whatever it is, 20 some 15 different routes have different numbers, but that's our biggest increase. From the kitchen, it's variable. It goes from 30 one night, and that's the problem. It goes from one night it's 30, next night it's 60. Sometimes we have families with children. Sometimes we just have workers that, just at the end of the month, they just don't have enough money left
Right.
to pay their rent and to eat. So we see a variety of people coming for dinner.
That's hard to plan for.
It is, and that's the nice thing about having a new refrigerator, because if you have a whole bin of salad left over, you put it in the refrigerator and you have it ready for the next year and next day, and it
Next
won't
day,
wilt,
right.
so that's
Or it
fun.
makes good vegetable soup.
Right, so those kinds of things. Yeah, our cooks are very versatile.
Yeah,
They're really
I'll
good.
bet.
We have one cook 5 days, and the other one is part-time, 2 days.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So what, and I'm sure you try the food every once in a while.
Oh, yeah. Well,
What-
Robert's always making something different, or, and he says, "You want to try this?" And, sure. I had the other night he made this rice, like a stir-fried rice with vegetables in it, and it was really good.
What's your favorite?
His chicken, and probably. He
Okay.
makes like a teriyaki chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So I think the neatest thing about your kitchen and in your service there to the folks who are hungry is that there's no requirements, no stipulations, no forms to fill out, no proof that you can't afford dinner.
Right. We have no questions asked at the window, and even for the homebound, we don't ask them anything about their income or anything. The only requirement is somebody needs to recommend them. Usually their doctor, the Office of the Aging is usually, it could be the insurance company calls us up and wants to know if we can bring a meal.
Right.
Those are usually 3. Sometimes a parish priest or a minister, and sometimes even a relative will call. And then we do an intake to see if, in fact, they need our services. And if they need a meal, that's it. That's the only requirement.
Right.
They have a need they can't get out, they can't cook, they can't stand long enough to cook, even though they maybe can get out a little bit, so.
Wow, that's fabulous, because there's nothing better than a cooked meal that's got the proper calories and vitamins, minerals, all the good stuff that's needed in a well-balanced meal.
Well, that's what we try to follow. It's got to be a protein, a vegetable, salad, dessert, and a starch. So, and we get most of our desserts donated, which is a good thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Does that come like from hotels or
Safeway usually?
Oh, Safeway.
It's a big one, but we get some things from Costco and some things from the hotels. Often drop off more protein items.
Okay.
Last year at Thanksgiving, the Grand Wailea, I think, gave us 90 turkeys.
Oh my goodness!
So.
That
We
goes
had turkeys for more than Thanksgiving.
That goes a long way. I was going to say, yeah.
Well, we fed 200 and some odd people at Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
Wow.
We also served about 200 in Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
And that's a sit-down dinner. They come into the hall, sit down, and they get served.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the rest of the
Yeah.
time it's kind of
They just cut from the
cafeteria
window.
style.
Yeah, right. Go
Okay.
from the window.
Yeah. Those two are your biggest 2 days, Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have presents for the children. We get presents donated and we wrap them, and Santa gives out the presents. And so, yeah, we have them. Christmas is really
Special.
important. Yeah, we get
Yeah.
a lot of families that come on Christmas.
That's great. And again, no questions asked.
Nope.
I think that's just that's so remarkable to me, because we're in that time when everybody is so limited on the funds that they have that they can only serve certain people or this or that, and you guys just throw the door open and say, come.
Well, we also try to bring in services to them. Well, Human Services, the Department of Human Services often come with a program like SNAP, and they came and they interviewed people. We had Tropicare recently.
Uh-huh.
That was an amazing thing.
Oh, that's right. They were right there at the church, weren't they, for that week?
They had all the military were there, all the doctors, the dentists. I think they made 3,000 glasses, they said.
Oh, my
eyeglasses
gosh.
alone.
Oh, wow.
And that was the same thing. You could come and there were
Yeah,
no
no
questions
questions,
asked. You
yeah.
just got eye exams, hearing, physical exams, all kinds of. They gave out a lot of school physicals to the kids.
Oh, yeah, for sports and things, yeah. And is my understanding correct that the military actually stayed right there at St. Teresa's?
They were they were bunking in the hall, and they were sleeping. The officers were sleeping in some of the rooms in their cots. Oh yeah, it was a big production.
That must have been a fantastic sight to behold.
Yeah.
Get up and go to work right on the same spot.
Yeah, we got along really well with them.
That's neat,
they were
yeah.
fun. And at the end, they had a huge thank you at the community center.
Ah.
And they had a dinner and they had a luau and everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So,
Was that over here at the Velma Santos Center?
Kihei Community
Oh,
Center.
Kihei Community. Oh, okay. Was that just for the folks that were in Kihei? Or
No.
for all of them were on the
It
islands?
was for the entire, even the ones that were over at Molokai. Everybody came. It was
Gotcha.
the last day. They all came to the Kihei. It was about 200
Oh, okay.
servicemen and women.
Wow. Yeah, that was the day they closed at noon or something
Right.
that Sunday, and then
Right.
that night they had that. That's fabulous.
Yeah, the visitors and lodging gave them a little bag that had all kinds of goodies in it, and we gave them a lei. It was really nice thing.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
that's cool. Yeah, things like that, they're priceless.
It was a traditional Hawaiian luau menu too. It was
Oh,
lau
good.
lau and lomi salmon and poi.
Ah,
Yeah.
gotcha. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, was that was at the community center? Who cooked all that?
There was a combination of people
Hotel
cooking.
people?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Some of it we cooked some, and they had it catered. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow, that's neat. That's exciting. We got to take a short break, and then we're going to get back to talking about what's coming up for
Okay.
Halikakau.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we're back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where we talk story with our nonprofit executive directors and staffs to find out how they're working to support the folks within their community and our community. And today we started off talking to Dr. Mary Trotto from Holly Kaukau, who actually came on board to talk about their big 5K and 1 mile 5K run and 1 mile walk. And we got her off track and talked about everything else. So I guess we better, these last 10 minutes, we need to shove some information in here. Now, is this a third time you've had this walk, right?
Yes.
The third year. So you're in the groove now.
Yes, and that's why this year we expanded to invite the corporate challenge, which was to invite any business, any corporation, hotel, restaurant to send 3 men and or 3 women to compete in the corporate cup, and we have a special award for the fastest team that comes across the line for men and the fastest team for the women. And we also offered a challenge to the safety services. So I sent out an email to the fire department and the police department and lifeguards and said, okay, who's the fastest? The firemen, the policemen, or the lifeguards? And you got to come. You have to send a team, and the fastest team gets the challenge cup. So we'll see. Hopefully, somebody will step up and join and enter a team. I know we have to have some fast runners in the fire department and the police. And
That's right.
And the guards.
When you see the fire department out playing softball with against the police department that's for Pacific Cancer Foundation. And then there's also, I think, a basketball tournament that they play and stuff. You know you've got some athletes in there that could do this. Is that Challenge Cup going to be a perpetual cup that gets passed around?
I'm hoping it will be. This will be the first time, and hopefully, if it's successful, we'll do it again next year, and we'll just continue it on. So
that's wonderful. Yeah. And that's coming up on Saturday, October 20th, which is next Saturday.
Right, and I deliberately put it on that Saturday because it's the week after the Maui Marathon.
Oh, really?
And so I figured there are people in town that are visiting that are running the half marathon, and this way they might look for another race to do in the following week. So that's why I paired it up like that. So
that's why you always put a runner in charge of these things, so because they know the schedule, they know what's going on, and know that there's some extra folks in town who might be interested. That's great.
Already I have a gal registered from Alaska.
Really?
And someone from Phoenix. I was just looking at the registration, and so I have about 4 or 5 people out of state.
Out of state,
yeah,
already.
Already,
and
so.
We're 10 days out.
Yeah,
yeah, very good. It's an inexpensive run. It's not that expensive. Children under the age of 15, $15. Kapuna over 65, $20.
And it's $25 for everyone else. It's one of the most inexpensive 5Ks on the island right now. Most 5Ks are running around $35, $40 and higher. So, considering it's a fundraiser, this is really
But it's not one where you ask the runners to go out and get pledges or anything.
No, but a lot of times the runners will come and bring donations from other people, and they'll donate. So we may get another couple. $500-$600 in donations.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So, folks, don't forget that's Saturday, October 20th. Race starts at
8 a.m.
Oh, that's not bad.
We have a group of wheelchair, Ansley's Angels, and they get pushed in the chairs, and they'll go off first. Usually have about 7 or 8 of them. They'll go off first in the first minute, and then everyone else will go off after them.
Very good. Now, where actually does it take place?
Right at Holly Kaukau.
Okay.
The
You
wa-
leave from the church?
Everything goes from the Holly Cow Cow parking lot, and it finishes in the parking lot. So
Okay.
it's an out and back course. Both the walk and the run are both out and back.
Cool. Okay,
Yeah.
great. So no transportation needed once
No.
you get started.
Right.
Great. Okay. We also have coming up next month
Right.
your golf shotgun. What do you call this one?
This is the Mulligans. Michael Dwyer sponsors this every year. This is his 16th annual Mulligans Charity Golf Tournament. And basically, it's just teams of 4. And it's a shotgun start at 7 a.m. at the Old Wailea Blue Course. That's the one behind Manoli's. We start out there. We at 6 o'clock, we're giving our golfers breakfast that we make. Holly Cow Cow makes the breakfast. And then after they're finished, they go to Mulligan's and they have a corned beef and cabbage lunch.
Ooh. Can I skip the golf and just go have lunch?
And during lunch, they have a silent auction, live auction, and then they give out the awards for the. It's always the year. So the top team is not necessarily the team that came in first. The top team is the 16th place team. And last year it was the 15th place team. And the year before.
16th annual. I got you.
Right.
Oh, that's kind of tricky.
Right. And then we have a couple of hole-in-ones. Toyota usually sponsors a hole-in-one, and Mike himself sponsors a hole-in-one with I believe $10,000 for one hole with. And the Toyota has the car,
Right.
So we have a couple of hole-in-ones. We have the closest to the pin and bullseye, and we give out mulligans. People can buy a mulligan. It's a do-over, and it's a very profitable fundraiser for us.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's great. That's coming up on November 24th. Now,
Right.
that's the Saturday after
after
Thanksgiving.
So we have a busy weekend then.
Yeah, you do. The biggest or one of the biggest days of serving on Thanksgiving, and then 2 days later you've got your 16th annual golf tournament, and that rounds out your year.
Pretty much. That we actually we sell tickets. Coming up in January is the big professional golf tournament up in Kapalua, and they have a golf for charities, and you might be able to get involved in that.
We are.
So,
Hey, you park cars, don't you, or something?
do.
Yeah.
well, the nonprofits can sell tickets.
Ah.
Okay, and whatever tickets we sell, we get all that money back.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if we sell $125 tickets, we would get all that money back.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, so it's no brainer. You just have to sell the tickets, and we put a flyer out that said, all the profits go to Holly Cow Cow. And so if you want to buy a ticket, might as well buy it from one of the nonprofits.
Yeah.
Rather,
Right.
and let them get the money.
That's true.
It's a good thing. They've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
So
Interesting. So that's, but then you don't do anything at the tournament. You just sell the tickets.
we're not doing anything. There's other
Okay.
nonprofits I know are getting involved, but no, we're just selling the tickets, and we're taking orders right now, and then I think in another week we'll get the actual tickets.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
God, I can't believe we're looking at January.
Me too.
Oh,
Well, February 9th is our big annual fundraiser this year. It's
early.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you
I'm
ready
getting
for that?
I'm getting nervous as we speak. We're going to start, and we've already started
Gosh,
planning it.
That's crazy.
And because it's around Valentine's Day, our theme this year is to share your love.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah.
How
So
nice.
we're going to, have hearts and things like that for the fundraiser.
You just don't stop, do you? You just
No.
keep going.
No.
You're just perpetually earning money for Holly Cow Cow.
Right. And then we have after that we have the St. Patty's Day dinner.
Right.
So, and all the leftover silent auction items that didn't go, we reduce them and they all go. We have the bargain basement at the St. Patty's Day dinner.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And that's usually the day before, the day after, depending on the day, because we don't like to conflict with Mulligans, because
Right.
they always have St. Patty's
St.
Day.
Patty's, yeah.
So, yeah.
Michael can't miss that one.
Yeah.
He's cool. I know he came in one time with you folks when we were talking about Mulligan's the golf course or the golf tournament, and he got so carried away with what was happening on there. It was like, how long can we go with this show? Gary, give us another hour. Mike's revved up. He's raring to go.
Well, I could tell you, print up about 250 letters, because the letters go to the golfers, letters go to people who wanted to donate the auction items, the businesses, letters go to the people who teams that won last year or played last year. He personally signs every single letter.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. He's my hero. We did some work with him when he was setting up one of his other restaurants, and I really admired the way he handled himself and his thoughts about the nonprofit world and so forth. So he's one of the good guys out there.
Yeah, and he's been doing this now, like I said, 16 years.
Yeah.
And we have the big trophy. The 16th team gets their name on a perpetual trophy, plus the actual, which is second, but they're actually first, the team that got the best score. They also have their name on a different trophy. Yeah.
Gotcha. So they do get honored.
And they get prizes
for winning.
Yeah,
and stuff.
the winning teams, the top 5 winning teams get prizes. Yeah.
Wow.
Gift certificates.
Well, you've got that wired.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Mary, what would you like to say to all of our listeners out there about Holly Cacao?
Well, I think Holly Cacao is, unfortunately, it's needed in this county, and we don't do very much for our homeless people right now, and it's sad because we don't have anything in Kihei or South Maui for the homeless, any shelters or nothing for them. So the only thing we have right now is to at least be able to feed them every day.
Right. That's wonderful.
And we have clothes, so if they come without a shirt or without shoes, we give them shoes and we give them a shirt, because we have requirements that they have to have shoes and a shirt to get a dinner, but we provide it if they don't have it. So,
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. And volunteers to assist you in serving?
We can always use volunteers. If you can imagine, we have 42 volunteer drivers plus another 20 substitute drivers. We have about 4 or 5 people that work every single day in the kitchen, different people, so you can add that up and how many volunteers. We have an army of volunteers that work at Holly Cacao.
You must.
And they come from every denomination, every religion, every background, and some of them come from Kula, and some of them come from Wailuku and Paia to volunteer. So.
But that's great. That's great. And you're really the only place that serves 7 days a week.
Yeah.
For dinner.
We're the only place that serves for dinner, and even with Meals on Wheels, we don't have any requirements for income or anything like that.
Right.
So.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Mary, keep up the great work.
Thank you.
I salute you for what you do.
Well, I substitute drive once in a while, and that's what keeps me going, because I meet the elderly folks, and some of them, we're the only ones they see all day.
Wow, that's true.
And we get to talk to them. And this year, unfortunately, in the past 2 months, we must have had about 6 or 7 of our elders pass.
That's hard.
Yeah. And our drivers get very attached to them.
I'll
They'll
bet.
drive every single Wednesday. Some of them are driving for 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important to have that one-on-one with them, with the folks. Because, like you say, they may be the only people that see them. And if something were to happen to them at their house, it would be your drivers that would find them.
Yes, and we have had to call 911 on occasion and bring the ambulance there. Yeah.
Boy, I salute you and all the volunteers that help over there. And, of course, I can't call it, he's not Father Terrence anymore. He's...
Well, we still call him Father Terry.
Oh, do you?
So.
Okay. But he's got a higher...
Monsignor.
Monsignor, there we go.
Right.
He's gotten a higher title, but yeah, to all of us who know and love him, he's still Father Terry.
Right.
You got it. Okay, well, thank you so very much for being with us, and have a great walk and run and a great golf tournament. And let's keep those coffers filled so we can continue serving all the people that need something to eat.
Thank you. And people can always just donate food, or they can donate money. Always.
If they want to donate, they can go to your website and donate.
Yes.
And that website is?
hollycowcow.org.
Okay. And they can give you a call and ask some questions if they have them at
875-8754. Or they can come by the kitchen anytime afternoon and drop off. We'll take any canned goods, any food, especially for, the people, vacation people. We'll take anything that's not opened.
Okay.
Ketchup bottles, and sometimes they buy these big things of cereal, and then they They don't even open them because they go to Costco first when they come.
Gotcha.
So we get a benefit of that.
Right. Very good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mary, and have a great rest of this year
Thanks.
and the holiday season and so on, and we'll see you next year.
Right.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mary. Dr. Mary Trotto,
Aloha.
who is the chief fundraiser for Holly Cow Cow. We shift gears now. We're going to be talking with Debbie Wunderscheid of Kalima O'Maui, talking about hiring people with disabilities. That's your number one thing, is trying to get them out there and get them working, right?
That is correct. There's 70% of the disabled population is not employed. So we're trying to reduce that number.
I see. Now, some of them it would be pretty impossible to employ.
Sure.
Or not. Am I
we
mistaken?
like to think everybody's employable that wants to work. You know, it just could be some kind of barriers that we can try to help them overcome, and work with them, with the employers.
Interesting. That's an interesting take on it. And I was looking over some of the folks on your website. You really got a great website. It tells the story beautifully, and you've got right on the homepage. You've got pictures of all of these people that are participants, and where they're working and where they're interning, and there was a thing there that I didn't know, the VWATS classwork, Vocational Work Adjustment Training Services.
Right.
Give me some insight on that, can you?
Sure. That's a relatively new program. We've had it for about 5 years. It's funded through Division of Vocational Rehabilitation. And we work with people that either are rusty or don't have a lot of job skills. And then we have a class that's about 8 weeks in length, a little longer, a little shorter, depending on how many days a week we meet. And then at the end of that, they get a paid 6-week internship where we pay them and we find a placement for them for up to 19 hours a week. And right now we have about a 50% success, well, I don't want to call it success rate, but a 50% higher rate, where at the end of that internship, they are offered employment. And so they've proved themselves. We've been there to help train them, and it's a great program. The last few years, we've concentrated more on the high schools, which is even better, I think, because they're still in the stages of learning and, keeping a routine. And so we've gone into Baldwin High School and Maui High School, and we last year had a class of 10 at Maui High School and a class of 4 up at Baldwin. And they go through the classes, and then we have set up an internship. And it's really important not just to learn about interviewing and resume writing, but the social skills are the things that we're finding really need assistance. They need learning. We do a lot of acting, play acting. Would you hire this person? And they stand in front of a mirror, and what can we do to make that, a better look? And how do you talk to an employer when you go in for an interview? And how do you talk to your coworkers? So it's really fun. We do it with a lot of activities and not just straight reading. So it is more meaningful.
That's something most of us could use.
Yes.
And I commend you on it now. And I was going to ask you about the high school, because a lot of the folks that are mentioned on your website are students at either Baldwin or Maui High.
Right.
And so at what level do you enter the picture?
They're usually the last couple years, 10th, 11th grade. We generally train and take on students that are between the transition program, that are actually have graduated, and then they're still in school until age 22. And so they're the ones that are about to age out of school. And so then we come in, help them prepare for work. So they have it's a smoother transition right from school to work, and not just sitting at home. And that's where the focus has been with Division of Vocational Rehab too, is the youth, because their goal is, or mission is, to let's help them when they're younger, and then they will succeed, from there.
That becomes a way of life for them, not just sitting around and feeling sorry for themselves or whatever might happen.
It's hard to get them back into that groove, I think, once they're out.
Now, do you work with them during school time, or is this after school, or how?
Both.
Oh, okay.
With Maui High School, it was easiest for them if we came in after school, which made it was good, less distraction maybe, but it was harder for the students, I think, because they start early and then they're with us until
day.
Right. And then at Baldwin, we did it the last period of the day, so it works out great either way.
Wow. On that note, we got to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, your weekly radio show where we talk story with our nonprofit agency directors and staff to find out what's happening with their clients and in our world. We're talking with Debbie Wonderscheid, who's the Director of Marketing and a Job Developer for Kalima o Maui. I can't say enough good about what Kalima does. I applaud Chantel Ratte, who's the Executive Director. She's taken this to a whole new height for all these people. And when we talk about, 55 persons that you have on your staff that goes out and cleans. We were just talking during the break about cleaning parks and doing lawn services, custodial services in the bathrooms, etc. I mean, that is a large group of folks to work with.
And it's actually grown. We're up to over 65 now.
Are you really?
We are.
You better get on your website and change that.
Yes, I better. I'm the one that's supposed to be updating that.
I thought 55 was great, but 65 is even better. And getting back to what we were talking about before the break, working with the high school students, that makes so much sense rather than to go back and have these people finish high school. Now, they are graduating from high school. They've earned enough credits, right, to do that. And so there should be something for them.
Right.
And unless they meet up with you, they could be left. I mean, that could be one of those pockets of people that just get missed.
Well, DVR does work with them in the school, and most of the time we're working with the work readiness program, so they're actually getting some experience at school, either working in their kitchen or they're doing laundry or they're working out in their landscaping or their nursery area. And then we just come in and enhance and try to explore what their strengths are and try to give them an opportunity for work experience out of the school. And it has been a wonderful program. I like working with the high school students a lot.
I'll bet, yeah.
They're fun.
I know you had a couple things you wanted to talk about, and so before we run out of time, I want you to take the lead and you talk to me.
Well, thank you. Well, you've probably heard plenty about voter registration lately with midterm elections, short time away. However, you might be surprised to hear that
Yes.
I have trouble with that word. National voter registration campaigns this month of October is actually dedicated to disability employment awareness. It's National Disability Employment Awareness Month, or NDEAM, is sponsored by the U.S. Department of Labor, specifically Office of Disability Employment Policy, and has been observed every October since 1945. This year's theme is America's Workforce, Empowering All. It's been around 73 years, and in recognition of that, we started a job fair about 7 years. Well, it is 7 years ago, just to promote and increase awareness of the National Disability Employment Awareness Month. And we're prepared for our job fair, which is coming up next week, Thursday, October 18th, between 9 and 11:30 at the Velma McSantos or Wailuku Community Center. And we're going to have over 30, we have 34 employers right now.
Wow.
So we will have a full house, and I've tried to promote and take out flyers everywhere. We're hoping last year we've had over 250 job seekers. We'll have mock interviews available. And we have some new great employers that'll be there, so it's going to be a great mix of employers. I think people will be really pleased. And we will have raffle prizes. I think, in order to be prepared, and there is hiring on the site. We've had some, we do a survey at the end of the job fair, and there has been some that were actually hired at the day of the fair and some after. But so it's always good to be prepared and dressed for the job interview, dressed for success. And in order to do that, we offer $25 gift cards that TJ Maxx has generously donated, a $100 gift card at Sears that they've donated, and then haircuts that we've been generously donated by the IBS or the beauty school. So that helps prepare them all, get ready, and to look sharp. And so that's always kind of fun. And we always have just a great atmosphere, great feeling that day. But it is important to be prepared. So at the day of, we will offer mock interviews for them. So maybe they could head to that person first or that table first and then walk around and talk to the different employers. There's so many different areas, too. We have airlines, we have food, we have grocery, we have cars, we have rentals, and just a huge list.
All different kinds of companies.
All different kinds.
Wow, that's grown from 7 years ago, right?
It has. It was a smaller event then. We used to have it over at actually the conference or center over at Cameron Center, and then we had to move to MEO, and now we're at the Wailuku Community Center to accommodate all of us.
Now, do you also get folks who are not with disabilities that come?
Yes, it's open for everybody. And at first, we were primarily gearing towards persons with disabilities so that they had a place to go to look. But we realized that's kind of not good to categorize that way. So it's all abilities. We're taking the dis out of abilities.
Okay, so all abilities.
All abilities. Anybody is free to come. We would like everybody to come, and because it's a great setting, easy to get to on the bus. It'll be fun.
Now, with our unemployment level being so low, I know that, like in the paper and some of the other Craigslist and all wherever, there's just so many opportunities out there. And for many people, it's just a matter of not knowing how to connect or to send that letter or to inquire. Here's where you have 35 or so businesses who are looking for people.
Right. And they do only sign up to come if they have openings, so they want to get the word out, and they'll have applications and some takeaways. Some of the places will give you things. But yes, it's hard to find qualified people, and our population is a great resource. They are one of the smallest amount of the employed. I'm stumbling here. They aren't as the number, I believe, of employed people that don't have disabilities is about 70% versus the people with disabilities are about 30-some% that are employed. So it's a big difference. And there are myths about hiring people with disabilities, and all of them are false.
And we've heard a lot of them, but let's quickly take a look at some of those myths and just get them out of here.
That's right. Some employers think that it's too costly to hire people with disabilities because of having to make accommodations. But statistically, only 1 in 4 need accommodation of some kind, and that might just be a change of work. And of that, only, I think, 12% actually need some kind of accommodation that will cost the business. And the business has a cap of $500. They don't have to pay more than that. And most of the times it is under that amount.
So that's kind of a requirement. If there's something needs to be done so that this person can be accommodated, $500 in improvements or changes that they need to make, that's the cap.
Right.
If it's going to cost more than that, they're off the hook. They don't have to hire.
Right. Well, and then there also, another myth is that they're more apt to require and exceed sick days. But that's actually really false, because we have reports that people with disabilities have had fewer scheduled absences than those without disabilities. They usually take a lot of pride in their work, and they're there almost every day. And so the absentee rate is a lot lower. Another one that's another myth that's really good is it might be too difficult or controversial for employers to take disciplinary action on a person with a disability. But they're like everybody else. They want to be treated like everybody else. And if it's something they're not doing right, the employer has every right to take action.
Right.
It's not any different.
To work with them like you would any other employee.
Exactly.
You wouldn't let them get by with doing it wrong all that time.
Right. Yep. And they are people.
There you go. There
all
you
the
go.
Same.
Right.
Employers, they say, are most likely to be sued. Again, that is not true. They typically want to just get along and do their work. They usually don't even look at that as an option. I think they just don't even think that that's something that they would do. They would rather work in an organization that's fair and equitable, and they want to be loyal and productive. There's a few more. Don't know if you want me to read them all.
Go ahead. Let's at least touch on the subjects.
Okay. People with disabilities make those around them uncomfortable, and that's people everywhere naturally feel uncomfortable with people they don't know. But there's been so many bonds and friendships that have created once you actually take the time to get to know everybody. And that's kind of a national and world thing, actually, that people do. Once you get to know somebody, you're more comfortable with them.
Right.
Unable to meet performance standards. That's another myth. And that, again, is also false. People naturally... Oops, I'm reading you the wrong answer. That's why accommodations are so important. If the individual can't meet performance standards, there's a problem, regardless of whether or not they have a disability. And that would be, again, like any other coworker. Another myth is that they're more likely to have an accident at work. And again, this data is not true. Safety comes first across the board. People with disabilities usually know their weaknesses and avoid exposure to danger and accidents. And finally, another myth is investment of time for training is too much. But that's wrong, because the important question is whether the disabled person is qualified to do the work and competitive in terms of what the job requires. They may need some accessible accommodations, but in the time to train may be a little bit longer. But again, they typically last, I think statistically, persons without disabilities have like a 3-year average when they'll change jobs. The disabled population, if they're in a place they're comfortable, they usually stay there for life. We have, in fact, our program with the 65 employees, a lot of them have been there 10, 20, 30, 40 years. They like it, they feel comfortable, and they stay. And that would be the same with any other place that they worked. So
that's quite a set of myths.
It is.
And I think as an employer all my life, I've probably heard all of those from other employers who are trying to justify in their own minds why they don't want to go in that direction.
Right.
And yet, I have to say, from anyone that I've hired that's had any disability as what you're working with, you're right. I mean, they love what they're doing. They love where they are. They don't want to miss it. They don't want to take time off for anything.
Right. They're more conscientious.
Yeah. And the work schedule may have to be accommodated a little bit because of the time it takes to do the work. But in the end, the result is better than I've seen from a lot of other people.
I agree.
So it's a wonderful job you guys do.
Thank you.
And as I looked again, people go to their website. That's kalimaomaui.org. And just even on the homepage, take a look at all the pictures of the people that they're highlighting there, and the jobs that they're in training for, and so many of them who have done internships end up working there full time following that internship, and if not there, to probably someplace similar to where they were trained. Now, also, it's an advantage to the employer because during like the internship, you're paying
Right. So then that way at the end of the internship, they have a trained employee that they don't have to worry about training. They're already trained and ready to go. So it really is a win-win situation for almost all of the times that we've had people out I mean, there's always a rare time where it may not be a fit.
Right.
But it would just be probably because the student or client didn't know what they'd liked or didn't. So we were just trying something.
I know some people say that you have to have a large staff to be able to hire somebody with disabilities because it's going to take somebody to be with them and work with them, taking them out of the regular kind of job duties. Is that true? I mean, does that really fit, or are they working with somebody in learning how to do it?
It's just like hiring anybody else. It just depends on the person and the job and who they're working with. It just depends.
I got you. Okay, so we've got the America's Workforce Empowering All, the 7th annual job fair for Colima, O'Malley, coming up next Thursday, a week from tomorrow, at the Velma McWayne Santos Center, or otherwise known as the Wailuku Community Center, from 9 in the morning to 11:30 in the morning. So go check it out if you're looking for a job. And if you know someone with disabilities who has not talked to anyone at Colima, O'Malley, give them a call at
244-5502.
Or take a look at their website before you call that number so that you have some idea what they can do for you to help get that job. Debbie, thank you for joining us. Did we cover it all?
I think so.
You know, the one thing we didn't talk about was the
Maui Disability Alliance.
Right, they had
the
their
legislative forum.
Right, and we had them on a couple weeks ago before it. And then last week we had somebody who talked about being there and their Jeopardy presentation. Everybody played. I guess it was just great.
It was awesome. We had, I think, over 17 politicians. It was a terribly windy and stormy night, so we had 21 that had said yes, but because of the storm, they couldn't attend. So we had a lot of presentation from the community that were there, and they all were such good sports. They all played Jeopardy, and we had a great time. Dean Wong was the MC, and he makes things so much fun.
Right.
And it was just an incredible night. I think personally, I've gone to many of these, and I think this was the most informative.
Wow.
We even had one part where they all had to learn sign language from some of the sign language participants that were there at the event. So they had to learn a phrase, and that was so meaningful to me that, you know, they were actually going away learning something like that, and with a lot of statistics we gave them. And then at the very end, we had them let us know what they would do if they were elected to make a difference with the disabled population. So
Gotcha.
it was great. It was
Wonderful. I love hearing good reports like that on something that we've discussed here on the show and have supported. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
I am so short on time. Maui Nonprofit Notes is sponsored as a community service by Pacific Source, the builder's choice. Give Paul and his staff a call at 986-0380 or stop by their showroom in the Waikapu Base Yard on East Oahe Way to see how they can help you with your building project. Today we visited with Holly Cow and talked about their big fundraisers and their events they have all year long to raise the money to put the food on the table for anyone who comes in the door every night for dinner. We talked in the second half of the show with Colima, O'Malley, and what they are doing to help take the dis out of disability.
Right.
If you have any questions or heard anything that you'd like to know more about, please check their websites. We want to thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to join us again right here next week, same time, same place, when we'll feature representatives from 2 other member agencies. Until then, I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific, and your host. Thanks for joining us. Aloha.